Hey guys, how are you? Okay, can somebody tell me right now what the sound is like? Good evening, Bokomo, Irish Rover. Thanks, guys. Are we connected? Hey Raymond, how are you? It's good? Hey Todd, how are you? It's all good, so no buzzing? I think that got fixed. I sure hope so. Okay, awesome. Glad to hear it. So we're at the Englewood City Council meeting, regular City Council meeting. The study session is going on behind me. Regular meeting will start in about 10 minutes at 7 o'clock. So I'm signed up to give public comment. I am the third scheduled speaker, so I have 5 minutes. There's a whole group of interesting people here tonight signed up for public comment. Something about changing some zoning to be able to essentially garden and sell your stuff and do as you please. So that's going to be interesting. So we probably won't be staying for the entire public comment. I'm exceptionally tired and mentally exhausted. We had a meeting with Mayor Mike Johnston and his staff this morning in Denver. Some good news. So I actually have a lot of good news to talk about. So number one, the last live stream I did, where I was using a lot of profane language for a good cause. So they're taking a break, so that's good. So I need to go in here shortly because I have some papers that I need to hand out to the clerk so she can give City Council each copy. But that last live stream, so that man that had his camper and his car towed, both of his vehicles were legally licensed, registered, insurance, everything. This guy works. He's homeless. He lost his home in 2019. And District 3 cops, O'Neill's crew, has a problem with him, so they targeted him. And they took his RV 3 times in a month. Yeah. One time he paid to get it out. The second time he didn't have to pay to get it out. And now the third time he's not going to have to pay to get it out. But, you know, there's the hassle. So, yeah, buddy, we're just going to keep taking your stuff. So, Bradley, how you doing? DR Broden, how are you? And Cap. Good to see you, Ann Cap. Yora, thank you for fighting for our constitutional rights. Yep, it's not going to stop. So in some other really good news, as most of you know, the case, one of the cases with O'Neill got dismissed by the city attorney, by the city attorney's office. So yeah, that's good because they had no case. It was all a lie. That was him drumming up the lie about me tearing down crime scene tape. Yeah, I went to jail over that. Dismissed. Secondly, we're continuing negotiations in settling 2 federal lawsuits that myself and my husband and myself have against the city and county of Denver with named specific police officers and city attorney, a particular city attorney in the city attorney's office for the Department of Public Safety in the city and county of Denver, who wrote an email telling the police to ban me from a public meeting. Yeah. So, but what's really awesome about what's going on in these negotiations And I don't know if this is a result of them or not, but the no recording signs have come down on all of the DPD substations. You're welcome, friends. I only had to go to jail twice on that. So yeah. Oh, also this week, for those of you that have been keeping track here in Englewood, on the Attorney Regulation Council case against me that dipshit Ian Griffin filed against me, a year and a half later now, the Attorney Regulation Council has decided not to pursue an injunction against me with the Colorado Supreme Court to discontinue my nonprofit activities of bringing homeless individuals into a courtroom in the interest of justice to settle cases and clear warrants. Yeah. So my attorney just got that letter. So yeah, I had a really good week. What else is worthy of talking about, Irish? I shared a couple things with you. I didn't win the lottery. Oh, Robert's case here in Englewood, where the cops left him to die on the bench there in front of the Kaiser building, and I took him off the bench back in January, and he lost his foot because he had frostbite. Yeah, he had court here in Englewood, and he did make his appearance thanks to me, because Robert doesn't even know what day it is, let alone know that he has to go to court or even what time it is. And so while he's recuperating, I had to make sure that he could appear virtually, and he did. And it was a very interesting appearance, and I learned through open court at that hearing that Sergeant Wright, I don't know if any of you remember that live stream that I did with Sergeant Wright. He's been on camera a couple times. He told me that he's had a bad interaction with me in the past. It didn't happen. Yeah, he was one of the cops that wrote him a ticket. Yeah, while he was dying on a bench. He wrote him a ticket and left him there. Yeah, way to go, Sergeant Wright of Englewood. So now you can officially document that you're probably going to have a bad experience the next time you hear some words come out of my mouth on what I think about it. So you can officially put that on the towel of I had a bad experience with Regan Benson. So we're going to go in here because we've got some documents that we need to hand over before I make public comments. So every single city council member has a copy so they know what I'm talking about. So here we go.
Normally the reconvene and the start time are going to be the same. And I'll
I have to mow. Yeah, a friend of mine called today. I haven't heard anything for it.
Hi, I have 7 copies for City Council for my public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I thought nobody showed
Hi, Sean.
All right, everyone, I call this meeting to order. If you're able to do so, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Clerk, would you please take roll call? Present.
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 Present. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 5, consideration of minutes from the previous session. Any changes to the minutes from the regular city council meeting from April 15th? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
There are a bunch of changes. Yes, there is. On pages 9 through 12, Steve Ward could not have voted because he was absent, and almost every vote had him included on that. And then also, so that's on pages 9 through 12. Each vote, I circled them all. Actually, wait a second, it goes from, did I say 9? Yeah, pages 9 through 12. And then, also, on page 12, I do not believe the final vote was recorded. The last vote was approval of amendments to the council policy manuals, and it went down 3-3. There should have been one more vote to complete the vote on it. So those all need to be changed.
Thank you very much, Member Russell. City Clerk, were you able to make those changes? Did you capture them all?
I did capture them, thank you.
Perfect. Any other changes? Go ahead, Member Wright.
Yes, the motion to remove grant writing, I did not vote for it, I voted against it. And then, the next one, motion to remove, the community-wide, emissions. I'm sorry, that one's correct for me. But I believe it was, sorry, I take that back. And that was it, except everything else, member Russell did, cover also.
Thank you very much. Member Wright, I'm seeing Member Ward on some of these, so. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. We'll go ahead and make the changes. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting with the amendments that have been specified by Member Wilson, Member Wright?
I move to approve the minutes as amended.
Thank you, Member Russell. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Prang. And please vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson.
Aye.
Member Nieniken. Aye. Member Prang. Aye. Member Russell.
Aye.
Member Ward.
Aye.
Member Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Let the record show 7 ayes.
Yeah, thank you very much for the catch, Member Russell, Member Wright. Moving on to the minutes from the special city council meeting for April 22nd. Any changes to that, to those minutes? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the 22nd?
I move to approve the minutes of,
I'm sorry, I just caught something, on here it has Kevin Wright voted for, not Ken Wright. I'm sorry, I'm married to Kevin, but I could not change my name to him. I just caught it. So,
That's not even funny. They can't even keep a recording of official votes. Wow.
Perfect, thank you for that, Member Wright, we'll make that change. So can I get approval for the minutes with the amendment as stated by Member Wright?
I move to approve, the April 22nd, minutes as amended.
Thank you, Member Russell, can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Can Please vote.
Member Tim Anderson.
Aye.
Member Anakin. Member Frank. Member Russell.
Aye.
Member Ward.
Aye.
Member Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
That's right, we just have an
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 7, since we have no focused communication or information or recognition tonight. This is recognition of scheduled public comment. The deadline to send a speaker scheduled public comment is Wednesday by 5 p.m. prior to the meeting for the city clerk's office. This is an opportunity for the public to address city council if there's an expectation that the presentation will be conducted in a respectful manner. Council may ask questions for clarification, but there will not be any dialogue. And please limit your presentation to 5 minutes. Member Crane, are you giving response tonight? At least I could remember doing it last one. Okay. Perfect. And we have 4 speakers for scheduled public comment. First up is Kathleen Bailey, Englewood resident, here to address council regarding the need for an actual 25-year rain event capacity infrastructure in the upper half of the South Englewood Basin. Good evening, Ms. Bailey.
Kathleen Bailey, Jason, and Union.
Microphone.
Kathleen Bailey, Jason, and Union. Good evening, fellow Linwood residents. Last meeting, I presented my budget rain gauge data that showed the 6/22/23 rain event was actually only a 10-year event. Subsequently, Sam Lewis and Director Shell provided me with the 6/22/23 radar map that they claim proved that the event was a 25 to 50 rain event. On the screen for comparison purposes is a screenshot capturing 2 images from my iPhone album. At the top is the radar map from the actual deadly devastating 60-minute 7/24/18 major drain event, major 25 to 50 year rain event. And below that is the radar map from the 30-minute 6/22/23 10-year rain event that CM Lewis and Victor Shell declared was also a major 25 to 50 rain event. Above the 6/22/23 map, 2 values are broken out that are identified as relevant to the Englewood area, 0.92 to 0.96. Those 2 values, 0.92 and 0.96, and the pink one, 2 value and the 2 values in yellow, 0.92 and 0.81 are solidly within the 10-year rain event range of a 30-minute event. The yellow value of 0.71 falls within the 5-year rain event. In fact, with only one exception, every value on the face of the map is within the rain event rain depth color key identifies the 10-year rain event or lower. The one exception on the face of the map and at the top of the color-coded rain depth key is 1.22. 1.22 falls between the average 30-minute value for a 10-year rain event, which is 1.07, and the average 30-minute value of a 25-year rain event, which is 1.35. The range of a 30-minute 10-year rain event is 0.832 to 1.37. That 1.22 value falls comfortably within the 30-minute 10-year rain event range. However, the range of a 30-minute 25-year rain event is 1.02 to 1.80. So the 1.22 value also falls within the low range of a 30-minute 25-year rain event. Based on that fact, at best, the city could claim that the city was hit with a 10 to 25-year 30-minute rain event on 6/22/23. But that still blows the cover on the city's outrageous claim that ancillary pipe modifications and additions can increase the capacity of a 2-year rain event capacity metropolitan pipe system, as was reaffirmed by the latest 2022 Lime District 2 report. Now, why do I care? Because on 7/24/18, an actual 25 to 50 year rain event hit the city and overwhelmed the 2-year event capacity system, resulting in significant surface accumulating and draining down across the entire area from South Clarkston to Broadway, ultimately massing into a deadly raging, life-threatening flash flood that fatally trapped and terrified young women, threatened lives of multiple others, and inflicted dramatic devastation on residents' properties. After the tragedy of the 25-year rain event, the design criteria direction given to the staff by City Council was to design the improvement of South Englewood Basin. And initially, Council adopted a $7.6 million delivery plan that upsized the entire upstream half-main Charles Austin and has absolutely no intention to spend that money on what he considers irrelevant people in an irrelevant area, and promotes instead the equivalent of a bait and switch. And in 2020, council drops the $7.6 million Cleveland plan and adopts the $2.2 million Alty plan that leaves the inadequate two-year intermittent capacity main trunk line pipes in place and just adds ancillary pipe modifications and additions to the Oklahoma Rockaway area and declares an increase in the intermittent capacity, 25-year intermittent capacity protection for the families in the upstream half. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey, for your comments tonight. Any questions from members of the council? Seeing none, thank you for your time tonight, Ms. Bailey. Up next is Gary Kojak, here to address the council regarding Judge Jefferson and council priorities.
Good evening, council. You may not understand completely because I'm going to throat surgery in 2 days. I'll start off with, you always want us, Gary Kojak, officer in Located. I'm going to start off at that point. My truck has been hit 5 times now, last and then trying to see them twice. Okay, these people, somebody out here doesn't like me coming and talking to you guys, so they're trying to get back at me. Well, good luck. We got a great picture. As far as the judge, you guys, some of you guys got recalled and you hated it. And yet you went even out of your way and reimbursed one of the members $3,000 or somewhere around that figure. And what are you doing to the judge? You're trying to force him out. I ain't gonna give him a pay raise. Yeah, you approved his budget. But somebody wants something that is bothering him and doesn't want to give him what's rightfully his. Think about that. Yeah, as far as the circle drives, I went ahead and went forward and called CDOT. Santa Fe Drive, Oxford is one of the major problems, Oxford and Santa Fe Drive, to the point where they're gonna rewrite and completely revise all that. Because we've been asking about traffic studies. Well, I've gone above now, because you guys keep saying, well, you have a developer go ahead and give them their opinion. Well, yeah, they can hire anybody and pay them to say anything they want. The traffic is extremely bad there. Going back to the Circle Drive, because I went to CDOT. CDOT said if there's a Circle Drive on a bicycle lane, absolutely no way. You're asking for death. Because it's one of the most unsafe things going on. Okay, they directed me to Arapahoe County because they say they can't tell anyone what to do. They can only deal with whatever anyone does and they'll adjust it on the outside. If you shut it off the road or not. Arapahoe County, I said, what about the Circle Drive on Logan and Dartmouth? My God, it's truck routes. And the word never came out. Put a Circle Drive where there's bike lanes. Because the vision's not there. And people riding a bike do not respect cars, let alone cars respecting bikes. There's a little problem with that. Think about it before you take that next step. You've heard me, I've gone to CDOT and I've also gone to Arapahoe County. Now, they're holding back here. 840 immediate. That gives me the right, or anybody on my staff, the right to ask for a quorum request. We put in a quorum request for the April 8th meeting. Because I was handling, there's a question of whether you even had a valid number of people there to actually have a quorum. And then obviously the communication was poor, and the request was what was the communication between a council member that was not present and the mayor directing his votes and stuff. That is illegal. And you can go all you want. I've now talked to the state as well as the county. And they're now going to be looking into that. Okay? The last thing I'm going to close on is that I had a conversation with a former city council member that says, oh, they hate Mr. Kojak getting on the phone. And they want to try to change the regulations and change the procedures to reduce somebody like me coming in front of them. And you know, I represent a whole lot of people. And I'm coming forward because I'm not afraid to stand up here and talk to you because I sat in your seat. This opportunity is to let the citizens who have eyes and ears out there come and talk to you. problem is you're listening, but how many responded to me? The city manager responded to me that the Santo operation was big enough that it should have had a traffic study, that's part of their policy, but you all agreed that the developer could put in their own figures. They didn't put in the 2 figures of the ages. My last request, because I'm running out of time, is would you please consider a flashing crossing light at the Ringwood Rec Center? You've seen the traffic and stuff there, have a push button operating so that people can cross it without getting run over. And lastly, I want to tell you, I appreciate, I've been in your seat, I know the problems you go through, and how you get upset with things. But give us a response, when people respond to you, have some way of expressing it back to us, so we know you're listening, and not just when I walk out here, you make some comment about me, or somebody else that got up here and spoke. God bless you all, and let's hope the streets are safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kozak, for your time tonight. Any questions? Member Russell?
Mr. Kozak, I do have a question. Did you say that you spoke with CDOT and that they are going to reconsider Oxford intersection and the Dartmouth intersection on Santa Fe?
They did a major study, and they've gone all the way down, the Mineral was the worst, and Oxford Avenue was one of the top 3. And they are reevaluating the whole process, and there's going to be some major changes to deal with the problems that they have there, and Oxford is one of them. The top priority. Oh, along with that, there was an agreement back in my day with Dartmouth on the asphalt and the Dartmouth Bridge, if somebody ever hit that bridge, that's up to the State Department. The State Highway Department has to cover those expenses because that was our agreement. And I was on the city council when we made that agreement. And it doesn't come back to the city to do the asphalt and any repairs on that bridge. That's the state, and they agreed to it when we agreed to the Santa Fe corridor.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Member Wright?
Thank you. Mr. Kozak, CDOT, you said major for Mineral and, Oxford as far as traffic, accidents, or did they not elaborate?
They said it was a major study to the safety and flow and everything, and that there is some real big problems, and they're going to revamp a major part of it, starting in Mineral, and coming up through Oxford, and there's another one down the way, because of the accidents and the amount of traffic flow coming in and out. There's too much queuing. When the light window turns on, there's too much queuing, and the traffic gets stopped out in the middle of the intersection, and we've had some fatalities down there.
Okay, thank you.
Member Ray?
Thank you, Mr. Kozak. Just a point of clarification, you said circle drives a couple of times, are you meaning roundabouts?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I used to turn on Circle Drive,
Okay,
because I was talking to CDOT, and that's how they.
that's how you refer to it.
Yeah, but there's your roundabouts.
I just
You
want to make
cannot
sure it's
visually see it. Even though this one right over here is
Yeah,
larger.
Mr. Kozak, I think you answered the question.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, Mr. Kozak. I don't see any further questions. Thank you very much for your time
Thank
tonight.
you, bye bye.
Up next is, Rudy Benson, here to address council. Good evening, Ms. Benson, if you could just give me your name and your address across, please.
I didn't give you my last name. Good evening, my name is Regan. I currently have indoor shelter in the city and county of Denver. I spend a great deal of time in many locations. The following are all the major cross streets you should be able to identify. Hampton and Santa Fe, Dartmouth and Santa Fe, Broadway and Hampton, Santa Fe and Evans, Alameda and I-25, Colfax and Bannock, 22nd and Stout. All of that and those locations are subject to change as there are no certainties in life and the guarantee of indoor shelter. For the record, I'd like to comment on the entertainment value the city attorney's office has offered up in the colossal waste of time and effort to continue attempts to shut down public comment here at your regular city council meetings. It's been both infuriating and comical. And yet, here you are again tonight with more of the comedy narrowed down to only select people being able to speak every 90 days. Right back to we the Englewood versus we the people. It's funny, It really is. You aligned rightfully with the city of Sheridan. I thought Englewood was better than that. Clearly you are not. Additionally, for the record, I know the majority of you, with special emphasis coming from the city attorney's office, are cheering on the corruption in the police department. How exciting to know that multiple departments are now involved, to include the clerk's office, in blatant law violations for illegal responses to public records requests that nobody, ironically, wants to sign their name to. Thank you for releasing those simple records you thought you could withhold for 5 weeks, based on a statute with some imaginary language in it that somehow became law for an unnamed individual with a law degree out of a Cracker Jack box, of whom ultimately sent the requested info to me this past Friday from the clerk's office with no signature, 5 weeks after I was told the records would not be released, citing substantial injury to the public. Well, that was a big old screw up. I know many of you think that you're dealing with a very stupid person, but I'm not. In fact, I'm just slightly stupid enough to present you all, Sean Lewis, Tamara Niles, and Sam Watson, with your second copy of an evidence demand preservation letter tonight, on the record, that you all failed to acknowledge receipt of when I sent them to you back on March 22nd via email. Even Denver's city attorney and chief of police are smart enough to acknowledge receipt the first time, not Englewood. So this time they're being served to you on the record, and in addition, I am now serving one to the city clerk, Stephanie Carlisle. No worries, it's no big deal. I'm just asking that you not destroy evidence in upcoming criminal proceedings you've all been a part in orchestrating against me, as well as potential litigation in your deceptive and unlawful practices in retaliation for speech. Also, for the record, all of you city council members have been provided with a copy of an extremely troubling records request. Make sure to look at it front and back. It turns out that your April 8th study session, the mayor was conducting his own meeting with member Prang via text. I wasn't provided with all the timestamps to the texts, nor do I believe all the texts were provided to me. Nonetheless, apparently here in Englewood, as an elected official, you can hold your own private meeting during a public meeting that you're voting in. Well, isn't that interesting? As you work to shut down public comment. Also, for the record, if anyone is interested, it turns out the Attorney Regulation Council has chosen not to seek an injunction against my nonprofit work of assisting the homeless community in clearing criminal cases and outstanding warrants in the interest of justice. Thank you again, City Attorney, for allowing your outstanding police department to collaborate in those efforts against me for the last year and a half. So very appreciated. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful learning experience as to why the Supreme Court would not likely respond favorably to chilling my protected speech. But at any rate, you do you, boo. I'll be out here saving people's lives that the government's deemed worthless.
Thank you, Ms. Benson, for your time tonight. Any questions from members of the council? Seeing none, thank you for your time tonight.
No questions. Imagine that.
Up next is Eileen Nicole, the Englewood resident here to address council regarding the military memorial at Wood High School.
Would it be possible that if we could, I could get this and they could just take it a look?
Sure. If you just send it to the city clerk, Ms. Nicole, we'll make sure to pass it down. Good evening, Ms. Nicole, if you just state your name and your address or cross-streets.
My name is Eileen Nickel, and I live at 4740 South Levin Street. Thank you. Our small city of Englewood has many unique businesses and organizations, along with our beautiful Swedish Medical Center and great rehabilitation hospital. Both are noted worldwide. What many of you citizens may not know, that we
we take great pride in our Englewood High School historic military memorial. One of the only military memorials noted at a school as far as we can find. We are one of the only high schools that has a memorial at a high school. That makes our military memorial very special and very unique. We express our gratitude and thanks to Kate Howard, who grew up in Englewood in the class of 1959 graduation. Kate is the founder of the Englewood Military Memorial. We take great pride in our city's 3-ton Colorado rose granite stone embedded with bronze and military emblems representing each branch of the United States military. Accompanying the monument is a display of papers honoring our veterans who have stood out for us. Kay Howard has worked for years to honor our veterans, and she is the one that worked tirelessly bringing forth the military memorial to the Englewood High School in 2014. I have a mistake on there, I have 15, but it's 14. And she continues on bringing medals and ribbons to the many veterans that she can find out in the field or homeless. The Englewood Military Memorial is one of our city's beautiful legacies. We understand the world we leave behind us is the world our children and grandchildren inherit. Through legacy, we encompass past and future, old and young, and the society we create becomes a partnership. A community must remember its history to build its future for the betterment of all of us and for future generations to come. Our historic Englewood is called to keep our rich history alive, and for our teachers and parents to teach our young students that patriotism is to be respected, loved, and honored. Our Englewood High School was awarded the Proud to be an American Award. Our high schools have got awards. And Kate has been given numerous awards over the years for the things that she has done for our military and our veterans. This event has been described by people in our community in the past as one of the best events presented in the city of Englewood. Work, love, and dedication to honoring our veterans. We're going to celebrate the nation's birthday on Saturday, July 6th at 1 o'clock. There is no cost. Location in Englewood High School is at 3800 South Logan Street. It is hosted by the music will be by the Joe Houston Orchestra and sponsored by the Arapahoe Fraternity Club. We will have a speaker and a gentleman with a wonderful story to tell. We will pass the hat and folks will be moving in the room. We are going to create something to offset our costs. It is very costly, but we hope to see all of you at our military memorial on July 6th. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nichols, for coming to speak tonight. Any questions from members of the council? Go ahead, right.
Ms. Nichol, have you gone to the Englewood, the school board, and advertised this to them also?
No, but we can.
Perfect, thank you.
Ms. Nichols, just one question for me. So are the only memorial event that you're holding is going to be on July 6th, is that correct? Is the memorial event being held on July 6th?
Yes,
What time on the 6th?
it's at 1 o'clock p.m.
At the high school.
at the Englewood High School.
And just for my clarification, there's nothing being held during Memorial Day weekend, correct? Thank you very much, Ms. Nichols. Any further questions? Seeing none, Ms. Nichols, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
That concludes scheduled public comments. We're going to move straight to unscheduled public comments.
Almost 5 minutes.
We're going
Streets. My name is Tim Nichols. I'm from Pennsylvania, Indiana. Mayor Sierra, members of council, thank you for being here tonight. I try not to come without something really specific as far as policy recommendations, and I apologize, I'm going to break that out tonight. I'm going to make a more general request. When I was a kid, my mom cut my hair, cut all of our hair. We didn't have a lot of money. So she found a pair of clippers in the thrift store, and we all got the same haircut, and it was not a good look. When I hit middle school, she realized it was not doing me any favors, and she found a lady in the neighborhood that could cut hair and wasn't presently working, had kids and other things that she was doing. But she had me down to her house and cut my hair occasionally, which was a great favor to me because she actually knew what she was doing, and she made a little money on the side. My friend Eric, who lives north of Denver, started as a computer programmer, started a side business making knives out of his garage. I was going to bring one of his pieces to show you that it's got a beautiful handle on it that he made for me out of a beautiful Indonesian batik fiber layered with some resin. But I realized I had to walk through the metal detector to get in here, so I hope you trust me, it's a nice piece. Both of these people could not do what they did in England today legally. As you consider revisions to Title 16 and the accessory uses that a dwelling can be put to, there's a bunch of things along with this, anything that involves nails, anything that involves hair, selling knives as well as making them, so no hammer chef parties in Englewood apparently. I don't know what these were intended to do, but their actual effect at this point is to disadvantage people who have opportunities and things that they're good at that involve working with their hands. They'll have laptop jobs, that's fine, but for things that involve making and doing things in the physical world, we have some provisions on the books that disadvantage people who do that kind of work. And it's a gig economy, allow us to run stuff on the side and make it. Property rent and mortgages are not cheap these days. So I want to ask you to consider that as you go into that revision, and where it's possible to open things up and allow people to do various design work that they're good at with their hands and operate out of their homes and not have to have a commercial installation somewhere, which makes a very high barrier to entry. If you would take that on, please do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nichols, for your time tonight. Member Ryan, question.
Mr. Nichols, so if I understood you correctly, are you asking us to allow businesses out of ADUs or allow businesses out of home?
I'm just talking about public.
Home-based businesses?
Yes. There's some home-based businesses are presently permitted, others are not, and I'm asking you to consider looking at that list and see what could be taken off the list.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, Mr. Nichols, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Up next is Chris Benford, here to speak about exclusionary services.
Good evening, Council. My name is Chris Lambert. I live at Cherokee and Lehigh. I am here tonight as an Englewood homeowner with a medium-priced home of about $550,000. I do about 90% of my shopping in the businesses in Englewood, and I do almost no online shopping. This means I'm an ideal Englewood taxpayer. I'm here specifically to talk about how we are currently accounting for a few of our exclusionary public services. For tonight's purposes, I am defining exclusionary as anything that we must pay an additional fee to use that are above and beyond the taxes that we already pay and the grants that we are provided with. In the 2021 Statement of Activities that I've provided for you, you will notice that some of these exclusionary services are listed as business-type activities. We account for water, sewer, golf, storm, and concrete as business-type activities because we charge for these regardless of the taxes that we've already been paying. Under program activities, there are things that, like public safety, public works, and the general government. Things that we all use regardless of our personal tax burdens without any additional cost. However, in this section, there is one exception to those listings that falls under culture and recreation. This is currently accounting for public services that cost us nothing to use or enjoy, things like our parks, our library, the various art installations that are scattered about Englewood, all of which are provided to us, the Englewood citizens, free regardless of the amount of tax a person actually pays. However, it does also include some exclusionary services as well. Places like the Maui Center, Pirates Cove, Englewood, the Englewood Rec Center, and the Train and Farm Station at Bellevue. My purpose tonight is to ask that these be accounted for as business-type activities like all of the other pay-for-play departments that are in our government, for three main reasons. This would provide more transparency for us, the Englewood taxpayer. This would also hold our departmental staff to a higher level of accountability in the operation of these assets. And three, this would allow these entities to look for revenue-based bonds as opposed to lumping these into our general obligation bonds that hit the Englewood homeowners almost exclusively. To give you a couple specific things I would like to see, is I'd like to see before this election cycle continues for all of these centers to post both revenue and expenses on their website, in the portal, and I'd also like you guys to consider in your next strategic plan to get these reaccounted for as business-type activities. Thank you.
Mr. Lambert, thank you very much for your time tonight. Any questions from members of the council? Seeing none, Mr. Lambert, thank you for your time. Up next is Chris Holden, here to speak about the United Sovereign of America.
Good evening, my name is Chris Holden. I live at 3041 South Franklin Street. I've been a resident in Englewood for over 30 years, and I'm a citizen of the state of Colorado for nearly 50. I'm a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Today I come to you as a concerned citizen sharing alarming information about our state's voter database, uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to comprehend when things clear, they don't add up. Just like your checkbook was balanced, so must our votes. If you had $10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. And if a company had that significant discrepancy in its books, the company would most certainly be unknown. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by state election officials, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We're not saying that one candidate won over another or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes as counted were not all valid and accurate under the law. Tonight we will present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you to go over this information, including more detail about specific findings. If you have questions that I cannot answer now, I'll look to getting you the answer in writing from the United Sovereign Americans executive team as soon as possible. The data and our request for an investigation will be shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It's essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be taken seriously. Today we come to you, our closest elected representatives for support and action. We're asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituencies in our country. Thank you. Our next several speakers will read the resolution and the our final speaker will conclude with the presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Holden. Sorry, did I cut you off there?
Oh, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Holden, for your time tonight. Any questions? Member Ward.
You mentioned, if I heard you correctly, over 100,000 inaccurate or incorrect votes cast.
Well, let me give you the statistics that was a part of our resolution. There were 1 million.
I just want, I have a resolution here, and as I understand, you're friendly with that. So I don't want to read it right now. My question for you is, what is the source of the data? You said official sources indicate this. I know of no source in the state of Colorado, having spent over 10 years in the state elections division as an employee of the state elections division, that would acknowledge or accept 100,000 as a number of inaccurate votes cast.
Well, I think one of our subsequent speakers can answer it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, Mr. Holden, thank you for your time tonight.
No, thank you.
All right, up next is Robert Downey. Can I get the first name right?
Good evening, my name is Robert Downey, I live at 3036 East Hinsdale Avenue. I'm going to read the first part of this resolution. Whereas it's a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections. In Rennes versus Sims, 1964, it quotes, and the right of suffrage should be denied by the debasement or dilution of the right of the citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise. Whereas, it is the duty of our election officials to guarantee our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. In the city in 1888, and versus regarding Coy, he speaks, Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty involved upon anyone else engaged. Whereas, our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following 4 tenets of an election are upheld. Number 1, voter rolls must be accurate. That's in the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Number 2, votes counted must be from eligible voters. That's in the U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. Number 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. And number 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system through the Help America Vote Act of 2002. Violate both federal and state laws, including 1,488,211 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Colorado State Voter Roll database. 134,912 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election, no one knows who cast them, and 102,242 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. Maximum allowable voting system errors for the 22 general election in Colorado was 21. And last but not least, certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Downey. Any questions? Member Ward has a question.
Same question. You read those statistics.
Came from the Secretary of State's database. The Secretary of State's data.
The Secretary of State reported 100,938 voters illegal and uncertain.
I'm not saying it's reported it, that's just in the database. We'll provide the data to you.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Downey. Oh, sorry, Mr. Downey, we have one more question for you.
Sorry, I have one more question.
Member Greencamp, go ahead.
Question?
So I'm going to make sure I understood this correctly. So this is a citizen conducted audit. So you took the data from the Secretary of State's database and conducted your own audit? Is that
Yes.
what I understand?
The data is from the Secretary of State's database, yes. We'll
And-
provide you with the documentation for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Downey, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Ruth Olive. Same group and again, Ms. Pauling. You can just state your name and your address across, please.
Ruth Pollock, I'm at Hampton Chambers. Okay, so whereas these items scramble legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during a federal election, accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report specific selections and absence of selections made by a voter without error. Whereas the intent of the voters must be known factually or certification to be lawful and accurate. call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. 1 of 11. Proof of citizenship and identity to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. 2 of 11. Documented chain of custody on every ballot, regardless of entry source, maintained from voter to vote count to final canvass. 3 of 11. Secure ballots, similar to currency, where imaging technology is used for tabulation. The security features must be verifiable in the image. 4 of 11. Voter rolls certified accurate 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address a person to a qualified official at each polling place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poland. I don't see any questions. Thank you, Mr. Poland. Up next is Scott Russell. Good evening, Mr. Russell. If you can state your name and your address for call, please.
Good evening, I'm Scott Russell at 9362 Love Street. Number 5 of 11. Systems, machines, security measures, procedures, and infrastructure, policy, and conduct are all required to be compliant with the law regarding certification, testing, operational validation, and operational implementation. Any breach will require an adequately strong audit to verify measured outcomes.
All right, let's go. You work for a very, very shitty organization. You know that? Super shitty. Spread the word. Roll call? Yeah, Regan wanted me to let y'all know that we work for a very shitty organization and our leadership sucks balls. Use that phrase, please. Sucks balls. Let's say hi to Dwight.
Good night.
He always brings a smile to our face. Dwight, I was on my best behavior. Nobody had to get up off their seats this evening.
Okay. Well, I knew you would be. I didn't have a doubt.
Thank you. Thank you. Even Englewood PD got to just sit there and do nothing. Yeah. Well, we just wanted to stop by and say hi and bye.
Appreciate it, as
Everybody
always.
loves them some Dwight from Allied Security. Truly the best Allied Security crew, minus that one guy that one day that became a victim in the library after he wouldn't let me use the bathroom. But screw that guy. We like these guys. They're the good guys. And you guys, you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You're the best crew Englewood's ever had, and I don't think they even know it.
Well, we appreciate that, knowing that you are a person that knows the security people.
For the last 5 years, I can attest, I have made lots of videos telling Allied Security individuals to take a particular wand in the court area and shove that wand right where the sun don't shine. Oh, Dwight, I'm just trying to make you smile.
I know. Hey, you have a wonderful night.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to see
It was
you.
good to see you.
You're always welcome.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you, Fred. See ya.
Have a good day.
You too. Yeah, seriously though. They really do. They have the best crew that Englewood has ever seen, and probably that you'll ever see anywhere with Allied Security. And it took several years of just like ridiculous knockdown dragouts in here for them to get people in here that weren't gonna be threatening to violate everybody's rights, calling the cops every 5 minutes, on and on and on. Oh, it's kind of nice out here this evening. This wind has been blowing non-stop, and now it's still. Please be done blowing, wind. Please. Isn't the sky pretty? Is my sound still breaking up? It's probably because I'm going off Wi-Fi. Here's a cop car. The cop was all smiley until I told him to tell everybody to suck balls. They do about that. Oh, here comes the wind. Yeah, I don't want to stay for the rest of public comment. I'm super tired. It's been a very long, grueling, emotional day. Like I said, we sat in a meeting this morning with the mayor, telling everybody again, he just had no clue that DPD was out there arresting homeless folks, and that's not part of their stuff. And, you know, they didn't know O'Neill was the same cop that's been pulling the same shit for a good solid 9 months. And it's just hard to stomach and keep your mouth shut. And then be told that the advocates out on the streets who know the people the best aren't going to be getting any more referral spots until the end of summer, maybe fall into winter. You know, it's very interesting. It's the same subject about people's reliance on government. Only the government can put people into temporary shelter because only they know how to do that best. They don't even have to know the people. They don't even have to know if they're going to be a good fit for anywhere. They just, that's it. You're going here and you're going to like it, and it may or may not be safe. We're not going to make any promises to you. I mean, it's so nonsensical to me. And I already have anxiety with sitting through government meetings. I really have no desire to keep asking government for permission. I never have had that desire. And that's all we're expected to do. And that's why I just it's mentally exhausting to me. Man, that sky is so pretty, isn't it? Aren't those clouds gorgeous? It is still light. Yeah, Dwight is a 1 in a million. And he's not the only one. I mean, there's a few of them here that are just over the top, professional, cordial, and they're smart. You've got a lot of older guys here that are gun carriers. And when I'm here in the building, I want to know where they're at. Those are the guys that I want to know. So, yeah, you're right, Snarky. They've already found temporary housing. Well, we've got nicer temporary housing. So the micro community, as many of you have heard me talk about, I have 2 referrals in over there, and they're doing very well. Joey's talked very publicly about going in there and being able to wrap around some services. It's going well. I have another woman in there, and things are going well for her, too. She was very vulnerable, up and down the streets every single day, pushing a cart. And they're still out there. There's still plenty of them out there. And so I guess only the city, you know, can do it best. I know what I do best, and so I keep trying to do what I do best. And when the time comes to catch dirty cops, like we've been catching over there in Denver, you guys, I said I was going to stop. Okay, I was, and I wasn't going to do any more direct street outreach. And I was doing good for like a month and a half. And then I drove by Robert. Okay, and well, I certainly wasn't going to just pull him off the bench and go, okay, see you later. So I'm still with Robert. And I'm going to tell you, the more I work with this man, the more involved I want to be in his life. This guy has nobody. Nobody. And he doesn't even know what day of the week it is. and we have some great conversations. We really do. And he remembers me now every time, because I've been enough of a constant for him. Even in that setting in recuperative care, there's a lot of people through there, and he can't retain anything. The building has 2 floors, and they're small floors. He still doesn't know how to navigate around on those floors. He can't find the laundry, and technically, I'm not supposed to say this, but he's not supposed to be there if he can't do his ADLs. However, that's why the greatest of the great helped place him there, because the man wasn't gonna make it anywhere. And so how these things happen and the way they happen, it's all for a reason. And I spend a lot of time taking Robert to the grocery store, because he won't leave the recuperative care, even though he could go on some field trips, but he's too scared, because his biggest fear was learning to trust me when I told him that you are not going to spend another night out on the street, and I guarantee you that. And I had to guarantee him that. And I was pretty sure I had a plan to guarantee him that, but I wasn't 100%. And so everything has happened for a reason. So I feel in my heart that I essentially owe this man this one last piece of dignity, to have at least one person in his life that he was able to trust, that took him to the store, and do those kinds of things that a person should have in life. Is it a right? No. Is housing an absolute right? It's not, you guys. It's just not. Okay? And if this were my utopia in my perfect world, government wouldn't be a part of any of this. Okay? But I have to work within the confines of what I have to work with if I'm going to help people. And so I often have to struggle with my moral compass about, Reagan, why are you in here asking government for help and do this for me, and we have to do this together? Well, because I don't have a choice, but I have to reel myself in every single time, right? Because nothing's going to change before I die. So if I'm going to help anybody, I have to somehow navigate these snaky, murky, ugly waters of government. And what do they want to do? They want to take me down in the process, because they get called out on their bullshit. This Englewood, I swear, you guys, this place they're as bad as Sheridan, okay? They really are. The only thing is, we're just not showing Sheridan anymore. I honestly, a year ago or so, Englewood had way more to be proud of and stand on than Sheridan did. Trust me, they did. But this place has just gone to shit. And it just keeps rolling downhill. And their leadership in that police department, with Sam Watson as their chief of police, even if there are some decent cops in there, and yeah, sure, there's some nice ones, and you can go have conversations with those nice cops, but the son of a bitches are out here throwing people in jail left and right. I've never seen anything like it. The determination with these Englewood police officers, and they're doing it without even writing probable cause statements. There was a homeless individual that went to court with another advocate the other day that ended up with a blank protection order against somebody, he didn't know who, because the DA didn't even have a police report. He had nothing to go off of. But you got to sign this because we at least know the charges are obstruction of a police officer. So they're writing fucking protection orders for these cops, you guys, and they did it on my case as well. They are. And no probable cause statement. I still don't have my discovery from when I supposedly harassed that poor individual down in the library while I was filming him in the course of his duties in the public building. And then ironically, after the librarian realized that she screwed up and tried to evict me from the library for a criminal charge that no one ever orchestrated, well, then they had to orchestrate the criminal charge. And in the meantime, I'm doing all these records requests, and the city attorney is just acting. I don't even know who she's got in her office, but if you guys, it's just the same shit, different day. But it's stupid dumb here. And that's fine. You know what, Englewood? Yeah, we're going to play another game, I guess, as you try to criminally prosecute me through Arapahoe County with a harassment charge for filming an allied security guard who's telling me that I want to rape him on video. What? What world am I in? Okay? I don't know. I have to go with it and think in my mind that it's all for some ridiculous reason that will wash out in the end, and it will all be made clear. So I just have to think, you're on a mission, just go complete it and try to stay alive and help some people along the way. But anyway, yeah, I'm all tired, emotionally tired again. And I can't keep doing that to myself. So I'm sticking with Robert right now. And that's all I got. But my phone keeps blowing up with people in Denver. Reagan, the cops are out here. They took so-and-so's RV. They're about to take my RV. What am I supposed to do? And I mean, sometimes I answer my phone when I can. Sometimes I don't. I get voicemails, frantic voicemails. I'm like, I've called some of them back and said, you guys, I can't stop it. There's nothing I can do. I mean, sure, I can come out there and scream and holler at the cops, but I'm trying kind of not to have any elevated blood pressure episodes. I'm trying, but they're desperate, right? And not everybody can get all this temporary shelter that's being hung as a carrot in front of everybody. And so some people's friends go into shelter, and then some of them are left out on the streets. It's just, it's a chaotic, it's a mess. It's just a mess. And I'm the one that could make some really good, peaceful, successful referrals into housing. And I got tasked with tracking RVs and working with somebody now in the city and county of Denver that's apparently going to help do something. I don't know what. So, yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks. So I gotta go back to court May 17th in Arapahoe County. So y'all saw that case number. If y'all want to follow that case, follow it. I don't care. Blast it all over the internet. Do whatever you want to do. But I didn't tell you to do it. So I'll get through that. Fine. Here in a little while, there'll be the other trial going on for the guy that assaulted me in Denver. That's been another whole interesting ordeal as he continues to violate those protection orders. And I made it clear that I really can't be going into Denver because I don't know where this guy is hiding. So I've really had to give up that direct street contact out there to help those people. And I've explained that to some of these folks out on the streets. I don't know where he's at. I don't know who he's, what woman he's convinced that I'm the enemy and she's high enough to take action on me or some other guy or some other new friend that this freak has made, because Denver hasn't listened to me about that issue for several years. And so you got a violent offender living in homelessness, brazenly violating a permanent civil protection order with no punishment at all, right? Yep. And the Denver judge, Barry Schwartz, who's going to oversee this trial, just let him go last time. He was in jail for 2 weeks, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to let you out, and good luck to you. He wished him good luck. Yeah. Yeah, and then the next court appearance that he actually showed up for, instead of waiting to get picked up on a warrant, he brought this little gal to court, and it was still winter months. I mean, it was like 30 degrees outside, and she had on a tube top that barely covered her titaloos, and she's standing up in the gallery in the courtroom as I'm on camera participating in the hearing as the victim. She stands up in the gallery at the end of the hearing and starts blowing kisses to the camera and waving and making a giant scene for herself. So, yeah. And this guy finds all these women on the streets, and it works out well for him. And then some advocate comes along and is onto his bullshit, and he's well aware of that. And nobody's going to listen to me because Reagan calls cops fuckers. So they're not going to listen to her. And trust me, there were plenty of cops that knew. And some of you saw it on camera. The night that they went out in the middle of a snowstorm and they were trying to evict all of the homeless along this one street in a freaking horrible snowstorm because Parks had come out and put up signage and said no parking. They put the signs up at 6 o'clock at night that day. And then the cops showed up. There was no parking from like 11 to 5 or something. The cops showed up at like 9. They're on the bullhorn. They said, you all better get out of here. We're coming back at 11. And if you're here, we're going to arrest you. So they all call me. So I go out there. I'm sick as shit. I'm just totally sick. I go out there and it was kind of funny. The cops ended up leaving. But that dumbass was right there that had a warrant for assaulting me. And I told the cops, he's right here in this camper. He has a warrant. So what did they do? Nothing. They turned around and wrote a warrant for me 6 weeks later for interference. True story. True frickin' story, you guys. So I either have to play vigilante, which I absolutely will not do, or I have to hope that I can protect myself and get a fair shot at justice if I ever had to do that, which you know damn good and well that's not going to happen in Denver. So it leaves me with the inability to protect myself in Denver. So, and potentially really anywhere that I could be caught off guard out on the streets doing direct street outreach. So yes, my direct street outreach, it has ceased. And if I do go out there, you guys will know because it'll be live. So, but all this malarkey in Englewood, Robert's case got dismissed. His attorney got a hold of him the other day and let him know that the city prosecutor dropped both charges. But it was a very interesting court hearing. It really was. And I learned in open court that Sergeant Wright with Englewood PD was one of the ones that the city prosecutor was waiting on information for. Interesting. And poor Robert. His attorney was helping him through the process. I was just there at recuperative care, making sure that he had the connection to appear virtually. I wasn't doing anything illegal. I wasn't acting as his attorney. Imagine, if you will. Yeah, Attorney Regulation Council, they don't want to go after me. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, yeah, because you want to chill my speech for what I do. That's why Attorney Regulation Council doesn't want to go after me. But they cited in their letter without prejudice. We're going to let this case go without prejudice. So we're going to let you know that we're large and in charge, and we're going to bring this up anytime we want, and we'll show you who's boss. Well, good luck with that, because what they were trying to do based on their rules was blatant chilling of my speech. So my attorney was ready to go all the way with it. And so, snarky. What? Oh, you're telling a story there? You're not asking me what I did to make him hit me. Yeah, I know you're not doing that. So, Robert's case got dismissed, so that's good. But during this hearing, Robert has a traumatic brain injury, okay? And there are a lot of things that I don't even understand because he has not been diagnosed. But his emotions and his reasoning department in his mind, they do not work. And you have to help them work for him if you're going to get him through anywhere. Like, even out in public. Robert's vernacular includes the word fucking every third word. It just does. And there have been, we've worked on this, a lot of people have been trying to work with him on this. And he doesn't know he's doing it. And, you know, we all have our quirks in speech, our uhs and ums and and playing with our hair and just all those things that you don't even really know you're doing, but you adopt as a regular habit. Well, his is fucking. So, in the middle of this court hearing, Robert's on the screen and he bursts out, "I'm fucking innocent!" It came, trust me, I was not saying a word to him. I was just reminding him that he had court. I'd ask him repeatedly if he even knew what it was for, and he never did. I told him what I thought I knew it was for, right? And he'd just sit there and shake his head. He's got no recollection of any of it. And so, you know, he needed an attorney. And before Robert's surgery, he was able to understand that he still had to go to court. And that got handled the correct way, and he got representation. But just hearing him burst out, I was just sitting there and I'm like, whatever. And Judge Jefferson was quickly caught off guard. He's like, "Watch your language." And I thought, out of all of the language that you've allowed to go on from the jail in your courtroom, you're going to chastise poor Robert for blurting out, "I'm fucking innocent." I don't know. But we got through the hearing, and then his attorney called him and let him know that the case was dismissed. So, yeah, Bokomo, that's why he and I get along. But the problem is, I don't go into the grocery store. Oh, it's funny. You guys have no idea. I have to stay really close to him because he's on his knee scooter and he'll kind of roll off and he'll start talking, and I got to get right over there because he's going to start talking so loud, and then he's going to throw out a bunch of F-bombs in the grocery store. We don't go a lot of places. We're continuing to work on that stuff because it's people just, they don't get it. You know what I mean? They just don't get it. And I just don't want to deal with the cops showing up in the middle of somebody claiming that some guy in the grocery store is gonna, you know what, do something in the grocery store. It scares the shit out of me to think what could happen, somebody calling the cops, because, you know, I mean, Robert, he looks when he starts talking like that, he's very serious and he looks a little scary in the face. And, yeah. So we keep working on it, and it's fun. Because I'll call him out. Robert, you gotta quit saying fuck it. We go to the doctors. I take him to his doctor's appointments, and the doctors will come in. Robert, how you feeling? It fucking hurts. And the doctors will be like, now they're starting to get used to it, right? But some of the ones that we weren't seeing repeatedly, but the nurses and all the young ones, they're like totally put out by it. And I'm like, it's all right. He's just trying to convey to you how he feels, and this is just how he talks. And so I feel bad because Robert will just look at me and he doesn't even really know what I'm saying. And I'll say, Robert, you scared her because you said fucking. He's like, no, I didn't. Like, Robert, you did. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try. You know, he's got a very limited vocabulary. But yeah, I just keep going on about that. He's Robert's fun. I said, and sometimes he doesn't. Well, he never says thank you, and so I'm trying to get him on that as well. And so the other day, I said, Robert, I said thank you, and he looked at me, and goes, "You're welcome." I said, Robert. He's like, oh, no, thank you. That's the stuff I need in my life. And so do you, right? That's the stuff we need. we were doing laundry the other day. I'll save that story for another day. Anyway, I'm going to go. You guys, thank you very much for being in here. I really appreciate it. And I love that a lot of you can gather with me here who've been with me for a long time and you get it. So thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. And because we do have good donors who see what I do out here, we got a very nice donation last week. And I was able to help Katie. She was not in a good situation and she's housed. And she needed some help with a lot of household items. And so we were able to do that. And that's because of very generous people out there that are still paying attention. And I want to thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart, because I would have had to tell Katie no. And that was going to hurt. That was going to hurt hard. And so thank you very much, you guys. And we just take it one day at a time and see how it goes. Thanks, mods, for always running a great show for us. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.